Hi there, my name is Robin Kelby, and if you've gotten this far, you have made it through the attendance spreadsheet, and you will probably be glad to know that that is the most formula-heavy and calculation-heavy spreadsheet that I have. The ones for the donations aren't nearly so bad, so congrats to get this far. Alright, so what I have before us right now is a monthly donation sheet. This one is from January. And so this spreadsheet has two columns. It has this section over here, which is just data entry for each food donation, and then it has some totals over here. So we'll start with the left side here. So each one of these rows is a different item that has been donated to UCM. So for instance, on January 2nd, we got cabbage, butternut squash, yams, microgreens, apples, vegan bacon bits, and that looks about it, from CFI, the donator, and then I put the quantity over here. So then each time we get a donation, you just go in here and add another row to the spreadsheet. In terms of the quantity, I generally have the quantity match whatever item it is. So for instance, it makes sense to have the number of cabbage be 2, since you generally just donated one whole cabbage, as opposed to a box of VMs. So we don't keep track of the number of VMs, just the approximate amount. And then in terms of the different donator categories, we generally have CFI. If an individual donates something, then we put it as individual. Athens Food Rescue, Avalanche, and then if something just kind of shows up, then I put it in a found donator category, which makes sense. So then this pretty much takes care of this side of the spreadsheet. There aren't any formulas. It's pretty easy. The second side uses two formulas. The first is a sum formula, which counts the number of items that have been donated. So this formula is going to count everything that's in this G column, which is just the running total for each donator. So the reason why there are two 16s here is I count donations in two different ways. The first way is by counting the total for each kind of donator and then adding that together, as opposed to just the number of times something was donated, which is this number here that's not bolded. And the reason why I count it two different ways is so that, say we have a new donator category. So, for instance, like some new fraternity. And we haven't put that as a category here to keep track of. So say they donate 5 things, making our totals 21 in the number of things that have been donated versus 16, since this is only keeping track of the totals for each kind of donator. If these two numbers are out of sync, then that means that that we need to look at the number of donators, and probably we're just missing somebody. So in order to calculate this total for all the different types of donators, we need to calculate each individual donator. So I'm going to go into the CFI category, which is right here. And this uses the special formula called COUNTIF. And the COUNTIF formula basically says that I'm going to look at the C column, which is the donators, and I will only count the number of ones that match a certain value. So whatever value I'm using for CFI, which is a capital C, a capital F, and a capital I, then I'm going to put that into the formula. So I'll show you the anatomy of this formula right here. So in order to do a formula, you have the equal sign. Then the name of the formula is count if, with parentheses after it. Then inside the parentheses, we need to have two different arguments, so two different values. The first one is going to be the range that we're looking at. So we're going to be looking at the donator columns. That's going to be from C:C. And then we want to look for a specific value. We don't just want all the rows. So we're going to separate this with a comma. And then we're going to put the next argument. So then the way that we tell it what string we want it to be looking for, what value, we're going to put it in quotation marks, and then we're going to have another equal sign, and then whatever thing we're looking for. So in this case, we're looking for CFI, so we're going to have a capital C, capital F, and a capital I. And this will look at all the values in the C column, and if it matches CFI, then it will count it. So you can see that with this formula, it's going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and for all these ones that are different from that, it's not going to count them. And so for each one of these different categories, it's going to be the same formula, but instead of CFI, you just replace it with whatever string it is for the category that you're looking at. And you have to make sure that if you're using like Athens Food Rescue, that in the formula for it, you're spelling out Athens Food Rescue. If you decided to use an abbreviation like, AFR or something, then it wouldn't count this. It would only count Athens Food Rescue. So as long as, you're using the same naming conventions for the donators, then this will take care of all the counting for you. And for each of these categories, if you need to add a new category, then you just come down here, write a note for the total for some new category, and then to put in the formula, it would be equals count if from C to C equals new ending parentheses, of which there are of course none at the current moment. So this is pretty much all I have for the monthly donation sheet. My next video will look at taking each of the monthly donation sheets and then compiling them into one spreadsheet for the whole year that looks at all the numbers of things that we get donated. Thank you for watching and have a good day.